I'm a singer-songwriter, a student, and a change maker. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a room of 20 to 25 children, all between the ages of 2 and 5, all either on the floor staring vacantly at a door or tightly clutching onto an old toy? This is an orphanage in India that I'm talking about. And those children were waiting for their caretaker to come and feed them. In the meanwhile, they held on to my hand and they showed me their toys. When it was time for me to leave, they let go of my hand and they walked away in total detachment as if I did not exist for them. This was my first experience at the age of 7, seeing so many children, all without a family, without parents, all hungry for love. It was very sad. I knew that no one would celebrate them like my parents do for me. No one would care for them if they felt sad or lonely. And no one would try to make them feel happy. In this moment, I knew that I had to do something to improve their lives. This is why me and many of my friends from all over the world joined hands to raise the necessary funds to support these children, to support their education and their upkeep. This project took us 4 years to complete. We came together and we were able to sponsor 100 children for a lifetime. After finishing this project, I waited for something to speak to my heart. It happened when I was 14, and I happened to visit a small village with rundown huts. The moment I entered this village, a couple of kids, all in their preteens, ran up to me. They held my hand, and they showed me all around their village. They introduced me to their parents and their grandparents. They had the brightest smiles that I had ever seen. When it was time for me to leave, they waved and they cheered until we could see each other no more. When I was 7 years old, I wanted to help those children have a life where they would not have to struggle for basic needs and they could live with dignity. I could only see that far. Now that I was much older, I was able to see a lot more. When I saw the sheer joy of these children at the village, I was filled with a passion to do something to help them. That is what gave rise to the World Village Project. I wanted to create a sustainable village for these children. The more I began to think about my vision, the more questions came up to me. What is sustainability? Is merely using eco-friendly material to create new infrastructure sufficient to create a sustainable village? How do we create enduring sustainability? The more I began to think about it, I could see a larger picture. I saw that at the heart of most problems that we face today, whether it is poverty, climate change, ecological crisis, gender or racial discrimination, at the heart of every single one of these problems, there is one thing: a disconnected individual. I saw that the way out of all these problems was to cultivate awareness of individuals' connection to nature, to the self, and to others. The more I thought about this, my vision was very clear. Human being first, infrastructure next. In order to create any form of sustainability, we had to put the human being first. India has a huge population of underprivileged people living in its villages. My goal was to work with 5 of these such villages to start with and then expand to many more. What I had to do was I had to come up with a way to form pure sustainability. This is what gave rise to the World Village Project. I started off my work in these villages with the children first. I wanted to awaken in them a connection to the trees around them, the forests, the animals around them. We took them on long nature walks, and slowly they began to feel like they were the protectors of the forest. We planted trees on either side of the village road and outside their houses. Every child named a tree after themselves. Look at Jyoti in this image. She's standing next to Jyoti the tree. Every Friday, Jyoti's mom bathes her and adorns her with flowers. Every Friday, Jyoti does the exact same thing to her tree. She washes her tree with water, and she cares for her tree the exact same way her mother cares for her. She understands that this tree is merely an extended organ of her own body. Now, our sustainable development is set with children who are connected to Earth as key influencers. For how can you create a sustainable village based on people who are unaware of their connection to nature? Another monstrous challenge that rural India faces is the curse of caste discrimination. You cannot choose which caste you are born into, nor can you change it at any point of time in your life. You find people on the lowest rung of this caste system as ready targets of exploitation. The saddest thing about this is the appalling lack of will in these people. They have no will to excel, no will to succeed, or no will to create a difference to themselves or to others. The more I fell in love with these village children, the more I felt like I had to transform their parents before setting out on doing any development. I wanted to awaken them to their dignity as equal children of Mother Earth. The first sign that I saw of this awakening was when the entire village came together to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi, an Indian festival that honors the Lord Ganesha. These villages had forever been mute to this festival that had been mute witnesses to this festival that had been celebrated by the upper caste of the neighboring villages. This awakening was very important. Now they have a voice. They know what they want, and they can express it. These people of the village are able to connect to themselves much, much more, and regular meditation has played a large part in this awakening. The third milestone that we have faced is awakening the villagers to a greater connection with their neighbors. We quietly chose individuals who were wiser, and we opened them to a feeling of greater compassion. We equipped them with skills that were necessary for the village. Let me tell you a story about Maria. We trained him in CPR and emergency medical care, and with his skills, he has saved many puppies and cows from snake bites. And quite recently, he broke the barrier with the last family of the village that had resisted togetherness. The lady of the house had choked on her food, and in minutes, Maria revived her. Now, he is a welcome guest at this family's dinners under the open skies. Skill is necessary, but skill without the foundation of a connected state is incomplete. Today, you can find all the villagers coming together to grow organic vegetables for the entire village. They also make water harvesting wells. In the evenings, you can find the entire village congregated together doing Pandari Bhajan, their local dance of exquisite rhythm. Again and again, we see that a connected state is at the heart of all sustainability. When one is connected to nature, they become willing protectors to the earth. When one is connected to themselves, they transform from voiceless victims to people who are capable of creating change. When they are connected to others, they become people who are capable of caring for people beyond the bounds of their own family. Santoshpuram is the very first world village that we are attempting to establish by the end of 2019. Santoshpuram is an example of building a village from the inside out, because we first began by cultivating in the villagers a beautiful consciousness, and after that, we set out on developing infrastructure. I want to thank every single person from all across the world who has been a part of this and who has helped this mission come true. I most of all want to thank the children of the village for being a constant inspiration for every single family to live a beautiful life. We need to build villages, we need to build anything from the inside to the outside. Because a beautiful state, a connected state, is at the heart of all sustainability. This is why I invite every single person who is involved in any kind of developmental work to try out this model. I want you to try to cultivate a beautiful consciousness, a connected consciousness within people, and then work on any kind of infrastructure. For how is it possible to create anything beautiful without curing the disease of a disconnected consciousness? Thank you.